Hey everybody, welcome back to Slow Your Roll. I'm Cody.
I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be reading again through Reddit RPGHorrorStories and possibly offering our advice or maybe just collectively cringing together, whatever the story calls for. But today, Alex, why don't you start us off? Let's just get right into this thing.
Definitely. This one was posted by the Equivalent Wrangler 27. This one says, no show DMs times 3. This is about the troubles of trying to find a game online.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of people been there, I'm sure.
Joined several Discords lately to try and play some one-shots. I'm hoping to learn from multiple DMs and improve my own abilities. 3 different servers and 3 different DMs. DM number 1. I joined voice chat with 2 other people who were still building characters. When our start time passed by 10 minutes, I asked if I should ping the DM to see what's up. I got told this was routine for him, and last session he'd shown nearly 2 hours late. I didn't stick around to see if that was going to be the case.
Yeah, what? That's
right.
Crazy. Especially online. Like, if you're going to do something online, you gotta do it, You can't.
No, for real. It's
even
like
the 10-minute thing is hard,
Be there in a minute, guys. Just watch one movie of Avatar.
Right. Goodness.
So, DM number 2. I didn't see anyone in the voice chat, but I pinged the DM and the players. No response from anyone. About 3 hours later, the DM responds saying they had slept through their alarm. But none of the players joined the voice chat, nor did they even respond to the comments.
What?
Right. Just completely dead group.
At least for that one, like, he could tell right away, like, oh, no one's in voice chat. At least it's like, okay, so this one isn't looking good.
Right. All right.
Okay.
DM number 3. In a server where the DM had to set up voice chat and invite players to keep it private, it never happened. The players asked if they'd gotten the date or times wrong, but the DM just never responded. 2 days later, they posted advertising for another game. The biggest BBEG we face when playing D&D is scheduling. Being consistent and reliable is one of the best things you can do as a DM or player. Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah. 100%. Especially for online games. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of the whole thing where, like, if you're not in person, it's even easier to, flake out, I guess.
No,
That's
absolutely. Tough. And when you don't necessarily know the person, that commitment just isn't there.
Right, exactly. Not personal, they're strangers.
It's hard to be like, sorry, Cody, I can't make it. But it's really easy to be like, sorry, Death Eater 98, I cannot see you tomorrow.
Right, yeah. That's very true. And honestly, it's like, I don't know, anyone that's played online video games knows that it's the same way. Like, half the time, if you go through matchmaking or whatever, whoever you end up with is kind of just like, all right, I guess I'll just leave this group now or whatever. So it's not too different.
Right. We had a really nice winning streak. Bye.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. You got a story for me?
I sure do. Okay, so here we go. This one was posted by Former Line, and it is titled, "A player stopped me during the final session of our campaign to yell at me." Yeah, right. Okay. So
you made it to the finish line.
Yeah. And then they're like, nah. Okay, here we go. So I was a first-time GM when I was doing this session, and it was the last session of a campaign we'd been doing for about 6 months. I had reinforced to them, being the players, that their goal was to rescue the king and help him escape from a god's domain, and that the god wouldn't have been beatable since he was the god of death. Okay. I admit this is probably something I did wrong, but I thought my constant reminders of it, that they would have remembered what the objective was and that their purpose wasn't to kill the god, but to rescue the king. To my surprise, they didn't go and try to rescue the king. Oh, did you have something there?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay,
I was just going to say, honestly, sounds reasonable.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so to my surprise, they didn't go and try to rescue the king and tried to fight and kill this god. It was only when I reminded them that the king was there that they realized what they were supposed to be doing. Then they turned around and started yelling at me about game mechanics and objectives, and how I didn't make anything clear to them and was vague. This lecturing went on for about 15 minutes before they finally continued with the session, and most of them were being passive aggressive for the remainder of the session. There's a bit more, but already, like, this is like, you know.
I don't know. The way it's described, I really feel like I'm missing something, but...
Right. Yeah, you really don't know. Like, is this like the aftermath and he realized the things maybe he did wrong and he's kind of making himself sound better? Or are the players really just jerks and they're like, you never told us, even though he did, you know? Like, I don't know. Hard to say exactly, but...
Oh, I'm sure they're jerks too, but like...
Yeah.
This seems like he wiped his side of the blame.
Yeah, very possibly. And maybe not, but, you know, hard to say. So there's one bit left. I know I'm not blameless in this, as I did some things wrong, but at the same time, stopping the GM in the middle of a session to yell at them about their GMing style and something they spend hours planning isn't exactly the best thing either. This isn't the only time they've done this, as in a second campaign I tried to run for them. They stopped me during the first session to yell at me twice about quote-unquote unbeatable enemies. When the enemies were indeed beatable, there was just storytelling that needed to happen that would set up the rest of the campaign. It's safe to say I won't be playing with them again. And that is the end of it.
Weird. You know, I don't know. That's just super weird. I feel like the story kind of takes precedent a little bit over most things. So, like, if you can't kill the god of death, you should probably... know that that's a fact of the game. Like, that one seems obvious.
Yeah.
But like,
it's kind of my first thought to assume that you can't kill the god of death unless the DM was like dropping hints that it was possible, to be honest.
Yeah. And even in like almost all mythologies, the god of death needs to be replaced. They can't just be killed.
Yep, I can see that. That makes sense.
But I don't know. I feel like he's not blameless, but at the same time, I don't know what to blame him for. I don't know what he did wrong, because it seems like they yelled at him for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, is this kind of going back to him where he's like, I know I'm not blameless in this? Is it really just like he's covering up the stuff that maybe he was to blame for? You know, like, I don't know.
Right. Did he like wet willy somebody? Like, come on.
Because it does sound like the players are just like, this is just one side and the players are turds, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Hard to say for sure, but that's that one, so.
Yeah, but also unbeatable enemies are not the worst thing in the world. You just have to specify that they are, or narrate that the situation is certainly unbeatable.
Right. This is funny. The first comment, I didn't actually look at the comments yet. The first comment is, this is one of those instances where I'm dying to know the other side of the story. And it's like a bunch of replies to that. It's like, I'm with you, man. It's like, yeah, we're missing way too much kind of thing.
That's hilarious.
We're not alone in thinking that.
That is awesome. I'm actually looking at that right now. 273 upvotes.
Yep.
No way.
That's pretty funny. Okay, anyway, what else you got for me?
This one, really short story.
Okay.
It's by Axel the Beazle, and what's your best one-sentence RPG horror story? I've seen a few threads like these before, and they've all been gold, so I'm curious. That was the thread,
okay.
So now we're just going to go to the comments and see what everyone's going to say. Like, what's the worst way?
Oh, okay, yeah. Little twist on the format here. I like it.
What's your best one-sentence RPG horror story? For this campaign, I'm reworking the way we handle leveling up. This campaign is going to be based on the book I've been writing since middle school.
Oh.
This is blank name. He's going to be our 13th player.
That was the sentence. It wasn't the I don't know, 8th player, 9th player, 10th player.
I know, right?
It was the 13th. That was like, this is the sentence. Okay.
If another player succeeds their diplomacy roll against you, you have to do what they want. Otherwise, you're metagaming.
Oh.
Man, I know, right? Man, this homebrew
Yikes.
class I made for a blank player is so OP. LMAO. Anyway, I'm preemptively nerfing your Artificer again.
Yep.
And the biggest kicker for this one comment that I was actually reading, these were all in the same campaign. Now that's an RPG horror story.
Yeah. You thought that time you ran Curse of Strahd was the ultimate horror story? Nah. It's this weird amalgamation of 13 players being crazy characters and everything else.
Another good one is, it's what my character would do.
Oh yeah.
And then the counter spell to it's what my character would do is, wouldn't that be out of character? Said by the GM.
Yeah. You're right. Sometimes that can be abused just as bad.
But can you think of any one word or one sentence horror stories? The one where you're like, okay, pack it up, turn around.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Here, let's see. I got this. Let's see. I don't know. Something like it'd definitely be like something along the lines of, I've been thinking about making a rogue without sneak attack, or a barbarian without rage. You know, one of those classic things where it's like, this is the character's thing. What are you talking about? Yeah, something like that, probably.
Hey GM, I decided to play a child pacifist in the next game.
Yeah, it could work, but it takes the right kind of people. That's for sure. A child pacifist. Good. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So those are the one-word horror stories. If anyone's got any one-word horror stories, leave them down in the comments because I gotta hear them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some good ones out there. Don't skimp on us. Give us some good ones. Okay. We've got the filter on YouTube that holds potentially inappropriate comments. No, I'm just kidding. Don't test that if you don't have to. Okay. So moving on to the next one.
Because I'll test it.
This one was posted by. Yeah. Just no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't test it. Okay. So this one was posted by Sentient Dice. Very good Reddit name, by the way.
Yeah, for real. I'm totally gonna steal that. That is now my newest magic item.
Easy. Okay, it's called How My Character's Family Disappeared.
Oh.
This one's a little bit longer.
I really hope he means in-game.
Yeah, right, I know. Yeah, okay. So here we go. I will omit a few details on purpose, just so people involved won't understand that it's them. So that's good. Good for him. So our DM was running a homebrew campaign for us 5 players when... when I was creating a character's backstory, I asked him how detailed it should be. The answer was something along the lines of whatever you are comfortable with. And that's in quotes. I made a human fighter. Basic, I know. And don't hate on the human fighter. You can make some of the best builds that I've ever played with the human fighter.
It's been around forever for a reason.
Exactly. Okay. So anyway, I made a human fighter. I went with folk hero background. I intentionally didn't want to make an overly complex backstory, so just specified that my character has a family. No details at that point. And it was an event that made him into an adventurer and a motivation to travel and do things.
Okay.
For a good chunk of the campaign, it went well. Okay, hang on, I gotta stop for a second. My wife doesn't watch our videos, but just in case she clicks on this one for some reason, she really doesn't like the word chunk. So for a good chunk of the campaign, it went well.
Oh,
but
God.
Several events happened that made the campaign much, much, much worse for me, and I will tell you about one of them. In the campaign, we were trying to stop a war from happening with varying degrees of success. We were essentially failing our way forward. At some point, the country gets invaded due to our successful diplomatic efforts, and a part of the country is occupied. Several players bring up their characters' families, making sure that they are fine and unhurt during the war. Seeing that the village my character is from was situated on the occupied area, I thought that it would be cool to do something with that. At least my character should be concerned about them. I didn't have even names at this point, so I just approached the DM after the session and asked if it's possible to add my character's family to the campaign when it's appropriate. The answer was, and I quote here, "Oh, your character has a family? Oh yeah. They're dead now." It was said in serious tone and not in jest or something like that. I should have probably handled that better. I just nodded and said, "I see." I was really upset about it, if I'm being honest. This and several other things that came up made me just lose interest in the campaign entirely. I just zoned out when it came to the plot and didn't even know what was going on. He was just a bonk dispenser at that point.
Really weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he sounds like a passive-aggressive DM, where it's like, you didn't give me a backstory, so you don't get a backstory, you know?
Right. And I understand, as a campaign develops, maybe when you start the campaign compared to like something mid-campaign, like some things might change, and that's fine. But to just be like, oh, you had a family? Well, they're dead. No.
Well, to be fair, like, apparently the place that he came from was under attack or under siege or something. Like,
Yeah.
the DM had to have known, like, he didn't pop out of the freaking ground. So, like, there is some sort of person or something that knew of his existence that most likely would have been tied to that. And it kind of feels like bad planning on the DM's part to not have at least asked him, like, hey, what up with your hometown?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, okay, so I'm a pretty forgetful person, and a lot of times I forget stuff while I'm DMing. But you guys know, like, if that happens, I'll kind of just step outside a game for a second and really just be like, hey, listen, I kind of flubbed this. Let's say this is what happened instead, and then just move on. You know?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
honestly,
there's nothing wrong
mistakes
with
are really easy to fix, especially in, like, a fantasy world. Usually it's just a, like, really quick fix of wording, too.
Yeah, for sure. And even in this situation, like, okay, so let's say that the DM, like, this whole area that was invaded that should have this guy's family at it, let's say that it just got nuked, and no, the players didn't know that, but the DM knew that, so he's like, everyone there is dead, and the DM knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even then, it could just be that, like, his family had heard about this somehow, one way or another, and was able to evacuate secretly, and they don't have to just be dead, like, especially if the player intended them to not be.
Right. And you know what? In all worst case scenarios, as far as, like, the player is, right? What if he's, like, the worst player ever, never paid attention, none of that, Like, on his phone all the time. But, like, what if this was the first time he's taking an interest into the campaign, and he just squashed the heck out of it?
Yeah.
So, like,
That'll
even in...
crush a person.
Right. Even in the worst case scenarios, this doesn't seem like the play.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also think it's really nice, just like the last line of the story is, so whoever's reading it, please don't be like me and communicate with your DM. It's like, bro, this is not, the way this ended is not on you in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesomely humble to say that, and you should communicate with your DM, cool, good advice. But, like, this didn't have to end like that regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yep, that's what I got for you. The first comment on the last one was like, how does a DM fumble a story hook as easy as that? You have NPCs that a PC actually cares about that could be captured or injured and in need of rescue in any number of scenarios. Even finding out that your family has been killed by the occupation you failed to prevent would be compelling enough if it happens in game and not as a throwaway remark.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure there's countless books that have been written about specifically that type of story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks so much for joining us for RPG Horror Stories. If you like these stories, please leave your best RPG horror story down in the comments. We would love to hear it. But until next time, or until next week, we'll catch you with another Reddit RPG horror story. But I've been Alex with Slow Your Roll.
And I'm still Cody over here as well. These are really fun for us. So yeah, if you have any suggestions or anything, please do let us know. And by the way, check on screen now. You're seeing some awesome merch that we have, of course, because I'm definitely putting that in post-editing.
Hopefully I'm pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I might just cover everything, whatever. You're looking at it either way. So you can pick this merch up. There's a link in the description below as well. And if you like this stuff, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.